A bad contract can handcuff a team or worse, set it back. These are the most regrettable contracts in baseball. Be sure to subscribe so you can find the channel easier and get back for all the baseball content. And hit that like to show your support. It's the easiest way to help out the channel and the video. Let's get into it. Now, I will say this. The player has to be on the team that the contract originated. They've been traded like Stanton or Price. They do not count. They're not going to be on this list. So let's get into it. Let's get to the first player. It is Trevor Bauer. A 3-year, $102 million contract to the Dodgers, $28 million in 2021, $32 million in 2022, $32 million in a player option for 2023. What a mess. The Dodgers thought they had won some sort of sweepstakes, only to have won the booby prize with Trevor Bauer. MLB cracking down on sticky stuff, so who knows what type of player he's going to be moving forward. A mess off the field, clubhouse issues. It's just, quite frankly, it's no good, because if they had to trade for Scherzer and give up a top prospect for Gray and Ruiz, that never would have happened if Bauer had been healthy. Is there a way he pitches for the Dodgers again? We're going to have to wait and see. Is this wasted money? If they trade him, can they get anything significant in return? All questions we'll eventually have answers to. But for now, certainly a regrettable contract. And we look at the stats, and you can remember he really turned it on in that 2020 season. Had sort of been not really considered an elite pitcher with an ERA in the 4s for the majority of his career. But then with Cincinnati, turned it on big time. There's the sticky stuff, all of that again. Trevor Bauer, his situation, not even on the field and in the clubhouse, but with the off-the-field stuff, the Dodgers have to be regretting this contract. Let's get to the next one. It is Marcel Ozuna, $65 million for 4 years with a club option for $16 million, signed the beginning of the 2021 season. Signed coming off a great 2020 season. He led the league in homers with 18 and RBI with 56, was in the Triple Crown conversation with a .338 batting average. Initially, it looked like the Ozuna deal would relatively be team-friendly compared to some and other big deals being handed out, but his off-the-field issues have now cast a black cloud over Ozuna. Does he ever play again? MLB, it's a suspension already served with the timeout, so he'll be eligible to play. How good of a player is he going to be? Do the Braves want to support or show support for what has gone on and everything with Ozuna? Listen, at the end of the day, the Braves have to regret this contract going out. Next up, it's Mikolas, $65 million for 4 years, signed coming off of a breakout 2018. It looked like he was going to be a top of the rotation guy, but he wasn't able to repeat in 2019. His ERA jumped to 4.16 despite keeping a low walk rate. He didn't play in 2020 and only made 9 starts in 2021. The Cardinals will be looking for him to have an impact in 2022, but even so, at this point, he hasn't been able to deliver on his end of the deal in any of the first 3 years. Hopefully for him and the Cardinals, the 4th and 5th year of this deal will be the key. Next up, Madison Bumgarner, $85 million contract for 5 years. Be a free agent in 2025. 2020 was the first year of the deal. All indications after 2019 was that Bumgarner was starting to head down the back half of his career, a downswing, yet the Diamondbacks took a chance on him with a 5-year deal. Immediate returns on what was supposed to be the ace of the staff were not good. In 2020, he went 1-4 with a 6.48 ERA. Then in 2021, he posted a 4.67 ERA. Both seasons saw a drop in his K rate from his career norms. Unfortunately, even though he's only coming out of his age 31 season, the pitcher who burst on the scene so early and so impactful for the Giants might not have much left to offer Arizona. Let's get to the next one. It is Josh Donaldson, a $92 million deal for 4 years, $21 million for 2021, 22, 23, and 24, and then a $16 million club option for a fifth year, at which point he'll be 38. And that club option carries an $8 million buyout. I think there's a pretty safe bet that the Twins will not be picking up that club option at 38. Let's take a look at his numbers. Signed coming off a big-time bounce-back season with the Braves in 2019 where he found the fountain of youth at the age of 33. 37 homers, 94 runs driven in, a 900 OPS. That was great. The only issue with the contract was that year one of the deal is Josh Donaldson's age 34 season. That was the 2020 shortened season in which he hit .222 with 6 homers over 28 games. In 2021, he posted a decent season with 26 homers, 72 runs driven in, and an 827 OPS. But entering his age 36 season with the Twins and potentially at a crossroads, does this deal make sense for Minnesota right now? Certainly, hindsight is 2020, but if the Twins do find themselves trying to trade Donaldson, then it could be a tough contract to deal based on his age and if there's any injuries in the situation. Next up, it is going to be Patrick Corbin. The Nats gave him a $140 million deal over 6 years, started in 2019, runs until 2024. After the 2018 season, the Nats had a decision to make. Re-sign Bryce Harper or go in a different direction. The Nats chose the latter of the two and chose a couple of players, one of which was Patrick Corbin. He'd been up and down with Arizona, but was coming off a career year in 2018 where he finished 5th in the Cy Young voting. Initially, the deal looked good for the Nats as Corbin went 14-7 with a 3.25 ERA in 2019, and the Nats went on to win the World Series. But in 2020, he went 2-7 with a 4.66 ERA. In 2021, it got even worse, 9-16 with a 5.82 ERA. Now, the Nats' chances to compete in the National League East are all but gone, yet they have an underperforming pitcher with a bloated salary on their hands for the next 3 years. Next up, it is Eric Hosmer, $144 million. 8 years. Started in 2018. It goes until the end of the 2022 season, but there is a player option for 23, 24, and 25 at $13 million a year. Coming off a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger when he signed the deal, a career high OPS of 882, an average of 318. It was all looking good. 25 homers, 98 runs scored. His best season. So one good year with the Padres. It was the 60-game season. Outside of that, it really hasn't been that good for Eric Hosmer and the Padres. Now he's entering his age 32 season. He's going to start to leave these peak years behind him. And if 2021 is any indication, it's time to cut bait via trade if possible. Because even, listen, $13 million a year is a little bit easier to digest. But if he is not going to be performing, if he's going to be a 700 OPS guy with 10 home runs in a division where you're competing with the Dodgers and now the Giants, you need to do better if you're the San Diego Padres. So a regrettable contract, at least the player option portion of this was a regrettable part of the deal. Next up, it is Jason Hayward. 8 years, $184 million. Now they're getting close to the end. This deal went from 2016 to 2023. The skills with the bat never really materialized for Hayward. In 12 years, he's only hit 20 or more homers twice, hit better than 270 3 times, and posted an on-base over 350 3 times. He signed this deal at an enticing age for any franchise, 25, and had 3 Gold Gloves over the 4 previous seasons. Since joining the Cubs, he has 2 Gold Gloves over 6 seasons. So even his best asset hasn't really come through, you could argue, for Jason Hayward. And in 2021, he was still in his peak age seasons. He was 31. That was a bad year. Only 104 games played and a 214, 280, 347 slash line. It's $22 million this year, $22 million next for Hayward, and then the Cubs will finally be free of this deal. Next up, Christian Yelich. Now, the jury may be out on this one still, But 7 years, $188 million with a mutual option for 2029. Could add another $20 million onto the deal. That'll be his age 37 season. Signed coming off of two wildly successful years in 2018 and 2019, MVP in 2018, MVP runner-up in 2019. Both seasons he posted a batting average over 300. The on-base was over 400. The OPS was over 1,000. He was also showing off his speed in 2019, the 30-30 club, more than 30 steals and 30 home runs, reaching 44 homers. Like I said, wildly successful, and the Brewers rewarded him with a big payday, and it made sense. He was only entering his age 28 season with the new deal. But 2020 saw a big-time drop in production, a 205 batting average, a 786 OPS. 2021 was better, kind of. The batting average got up to 248. That's still not good. And the OPS, though, dropped to 736, a 50-point drop. You could say 2021, he wasn't healthy, only playing 117 games, but in 2020, he played 58 out of 60. One more year of this, and the Brewers might have set the franchise back with this deal. We will hope for a bounce back from Christian Yelich. We don't want him to go in the tank, but it's just these first 2 years of the deal, it's not looking good. All right, let's get to the next one. Anthony Rendon. Again, maybe a little early, but the signs are not really helpful here for the Angels. $245 million deal, 7 years, signed coming off a career year in 2019. A top 3 MVP voting, career high OPS over 1,000, 35 homers, 126 runs, 117 runs scored, 126 runs driven in, 44 doubles. Also had 3 straight years batting over 300. Now, it's only been 2 years with the Angels, but either through underperformance or injury, he has not been the guy they signed. 286 average with 9 homers in the pandemic season, which was good. But then in 2021, only played 58 games and posted a 712 OPS when he was playing. Now, a bounce back is certainly in line, but he's entering his age 32 season. He's going to be leaving those peak years very soon. Can he find the version of himself from the late 20s at this point? Because that's what the Angels are paying for. A team that needs pitching so desperately cannot deal with injury-prone, underperforming, high-price salary players on the offensive side of things. Next up, Steven Strasburg. 7 years, $245 million. Of that, $80 million is deferred to 26.6 each in 27, 28, and 29. So they're going to be living with this Steven Strasburg contract for a while. Stop me if this sounds familiar. After the season, the Nats had a decision to make. Strasburg or Rendon. They chose to give the injury-prone pitcher, coming off a career high in innings pitched when you combine his regular season and the postseason, who, oh, by the way, was also entering his age 31 season, a 7-year contract. What could go wrong? Since the deal, he's only started 7 games over the 2020 and 2021 seasons, and the Nats window has completely slammed shut. At the end of the day, they made the wrong choice. Though Rendon, again, is also on this list with the Angels, they signed for the same number of years, the same amount of total dollars. I still think you have a better upside with Rendon than you do with Strasburg, because you know Strasburg is going to spend half of this contract hurt and injured. Let's get to the next one. It is going to be Miguel Cabrera, 8 years, a $248 million contract signed to begin the 2017 season, which was his age 33 season. 2 mutual years beginning in 2024 that carry an $8 million buyout. It would seem that the Tigers were rewarding Miggy for the seasons before, because his production from Detroit from 2008 to 2016 was incredible. 2016, coincidentally, the last year he was an all-star, the last year of that contract. He had the Triple Crown in 2012, led the league in batting 4 out of 5 years from 2011 to 2015. He was great. But since 2017, he has not once hit over 300 or for more than 16 home runs. He has 1 season with an OPS over 800 out of those 5 seasons. Entering his age, 39 seasons, these are lost seasons now. You're not going to get much out of it, and it is going to cost Detroit $32 million this year and $32 million next year. Certainly his leadership qualities are beneficial, but this is not a team that can load up on several major contracts, so his salary is a hindrance. He's a walking Hall of Famer. I'm not trying to take anything away from his career. Remember, this is regrettable contracts, not bad players. All right, this last one is going to be maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, taking a jump. Yankee fans, you might get mad at me for this, but we're taking a look at the situation, and I think that maybe this time next year we could be looking at this. Again, this might be a little early, but let's talk about Garrett Cole for a minute. $324 million for 9 years, taking him to 2028. Now, again, this is maybe not officially a regrettable contract. We are getting close after that second half, but again, we're getting ahead of this thing. The second half numbers last year were not good. There is the sticky stuff situation, and that salary is humongous. If he goes back to being the pitcher he was with Pittsburgh, where he did okay, but it's not worth the richest deal for a pitcher ever when you factor in the rest of the team situation, the money to Stanton, the looming Judge extension. This Cole situation could get, pardon the pun, sticky quick. Thank you everybody for checking out this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, maybe we're jumping the gun on Garrett Cole. He could come back next year and be amazing, but the second half numbers were not good. The rest of the team situation, I mean, if this Cole contract prevents them from extending Judge, we start to get into that regrettable zone. But again, these are regrettable contracts, not necessarily bad contracts. There can be a difference. So again, I appreciate everybody for coming in, spending some time with the channel. Again, if you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you have watched the videos before and you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you can find your way back to the channel easier. If you don't subscribe, YouTube might not recommend me for you down the road. So make sure to subscribe and hit that like. Best way to show support, easiest way for sure to show support for the channel and what we're doing here. I do appreciate it. I will add some links to some of the other off-season content that I've been working for you to check out here now. Again, I appreciate you. Ballcap Nation, I salute you, and thank you for taking some time to watch the video.